Hello YouTube, this is Mickey D. I'm back again with episode 93, or no, 93 part 2 of Stationeers. Picking up a few minutes after the last episode, and we're just doing this one as a continuation. We basically had to take a break to let the base depressurize, and it now has, so we can go ahead and just completely shut down the system. Yay, look at that. Ooh. Okay. And now we're just going to rip out the doors, and because we got to rip into walls and all that kind of stuff. And though we do have a KPA in the, oh, yes, because Martian atmosphere. Or at least our Martian atmosphere. Which, like I said, I am thinking about raising that up. Yeah, we'll just pull both doors out. Set them over here in the corner, out of the way. Very nice. And now we need to rip into this wall. So we've got to get the power line, which we're going to be snaking that around a little bit, it looks like. And right there. Okay. We'll probably just run it. Well, yeah, what we can do is we can grab it, bring it back, and run along the outside of here, and then around and down. I don't want to snake it all across the ground. You know, I try to kind of not have them just running willy-nilly out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, couldn't really get around doing the pipes, so, which is, the pipes aren't too bad. And that does actually run all the way right to there. What does that run back to? Oh, yeah, because it has to tie around to that AC. So we should be able to just throw a junction on. And let me go ahead and get my wrench out of there since we got to go back into the other bag anyway. And now this is always a pain when it's on the corner of the block. So we'll just do that. Right, so we're going to change that to a junction, which of course is going to have stuff right in the way. And luckily, yeah, we should be able to run that heavy line right. We'll just use up some of these so we can pick up that one. And not a three-way corner. It always wants to go to that three-way corner. Three-way junction. There we go. And there's the regular corner. Very nice. So that'll let us tie right in to our supply line. And I gotta check. All right. There we go. So we'll run this over. Ah, we got an autosave. Or just the random lag spike again. I hope they fix that sometime soon. Oh, let me know if you guys are interested in seeing any Star Citizen, because I do have Star Citizen, and they've now got the 3.1 update out, which obviously last weekend was Easter, so I did traveling and whatnot, so wasn't very conductive to doing too many streams last weekend. And it is a game I'm looking forward to. I've kind of haven't really done too much in it so far, just because I've been waiting for more. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't know what it is, I'd look it up. It's been in the works for a couple of years. It has it's basically an MMO, but Chris Roberts made it. Is making it. Um, it's an ongoing work in progress sort of thing. Huge crowdfunding. Um, I don't know what they're up to now. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions. You know what? I guess we're probably going to run these. Yeah, we'll stick the heaters facing up. It'd be nice if I could reach those from there. Almost. Yeah, I've got a freelancer misc, or not yes, freelancer misc. Which I don't know if they've actually got it in the game or not, or if it's still stuck on the regular freelancer. Okay, so now these should stay. So if we pull these up, hopefully, yes. Well, yeah, they will because those did. But yeah, I haven't really. I've been waiting for them to get like. Oh, they don't. Oh, you know what? I bet they will if we have the cables on them. Yeah, I bet that's what it is. Because they're not hooked to anything right now. I was going to say, they should. Alright. That's annoying. Yeah, I kind of figured you were saying that. That or I was going to say you were going to say genre. Or genre. But yeah, I figured you were going for game. Okay. Oh, well, that's weird. Okay, so it stayed there as long as the block was there, even though there was nothing on the block for it to attach to. That's kind of strange. I'm going to chalk that up to being an alpha. That's going to suck, though, on this one, because I do want to run these. Yeah, we'll just move it over a little bit. Okay, and that'll work. So these, I am just going to leave these right off of the heavy line, and then we won't even have to worry about them. Maybe later on we'll break these off into a separate circuit, but... And I'm going to go ahead and, since we know that that's not going to work coming up over there... And, yeah, I'll definitely have to check, though, on it. I logged in a little bit earlier today, and checked it, which was the first time I've actually logged into it in a long, long, long time. Like I said, I've been pretty much waiting for them to get kind of like the persistence and some of the, you know, the other stuff in. So definitely something I want to kind of start hopefully spending more time in. It's one of those, I've been one of the original basically backers on it. So and originally I had a 300i, and then I ended up upgrading it to a freelancer. And that's not, yeah, we can do it that way. We'll run one cable across. And three-way. Oh, are we going to have enough room to get that in there? I think so. Come on, come on. Beautiful. And then we'll go back to a corner. And then we'll go on a straight. That'll work. So obviously we're going to be putting out some heat in here. Since it's going to be on the circuit, then I'm going to pretty much put out as much. Well, honestly, we're doing heavy cable, so we could do a lot more if need be. But we'll do 4 for now and see how that goes. I mean, I don't want to go completely crazy on it, but I don't want to have to wait forever for it to heat it up if it's cold as well. There we go. And can we get that to... That one's not going to want to lock in, is it? All right, let's do it this way. Oh, stay. Stay. Doesn't help that my guy's slipping. And of course, that's why we brought more than one bundle of cable. Because we would have literally been 3 cables short. Oh, 3-way junction. Ah, there we go. Just like that. No. We need a 4-way junction there. Okay, 4-way junction. Not that 4-way junction. Or 4-way corner. 4-way junction. Thank you. Ah, there we go. That's what we need. All right. So, if we pull these up, they should stay now. And let's go ahead and move the wire back over. And the grinder. I still want them to add like a multi-tool that does like the job of like all the tools. Not necessarily all the tools, but you know, a few of them would be good. I don't have to quite swap tools so often. Okay, steel sheets. So that gives us our power hooked up. And what are we at on our tank? Wow. Uh, 2.92. All right. I should actually, you know what we don't have now that I'm looking? Is we don't have a shutoff valve in here. Not that we'd probably really need one very often, but in cases like this, it would be nice to have like a shutoff valve right here. So then that way we can let the tank drain out. But I'm trying to see how exactly we have in here. We've got a bit of oxygen in there. I don't really care about too much of the other stuff. Though I guess the nitrogen would probably be good to reclaim that as well. All right, I think we're going to go grab a valve real quick and throw one in there. No, there shouldn't be, no, we don't have one over here. There shouldn't be too much in there. What's that? Having a shutoff valve? And we're just going to, right there. Okay. And we're going to stick it. We can put it right back here because unless we're actually running that, that line's going to be empty anyway. It'll be a little bit more inconvenient than trying to fit it in around the wiring. All right. And I think we're starting to fill that thing up a little bit. Oh, I thought he was running across the chutes at first there. I was like, what is he doing? Yeah. All right. Anyway, we'll let that shut off. That'll let that drain out. as it processes everything. We should be good to go. So our power is hooked up. We'll obviously have to enclose those. Once that's drained, we can move the tank back one, which means we're going to have to move that pipe, which is fine. We can go ahead and do that. We'll let it push everything back. Oh, really? Fine. Be that way. Okay. Oh, and the atmospherics crashes. Awesome. I should have known that was going to happen. Oh, that's going to be annoying. We got to put a bend in the pipe. Hang on. I wonder if when the atmospherics crashes, if we probably. I was going to say if we pull up the tank, if it still loses everything in it, but probably because I assume it just counts it as a completely new tank. It's not like it remembers, you know. Oh, actually, we do need another corner. There we go. Yeah, that's kind of a... Oh. Well, we could actually straighten that back out. I can't remember if that's a corner. Oh, yeah, we could straighten that back out. I'm not going to worry about that right now. We can do that later on. And I'm pushing all that. Not that there's a lot of pressure in it, but since I started that ended back, it's pushing all the pressure back that way. It shouldn't make anything. It's not near enough to make it explode, though. So I'm not going to worry about that. We've learned that lesson. When you have highly pressurized pipes, do not randomly pull them up, because you will push the pressure into a section enough. Well, if you push enough pressure back, it will explode. Okay. All right. So there's that. And then what is our tank at now? Are we empty yet? There wasn't a lot in there. Ah, no. We've still got stuff in there. Why is that taking so long to filter? Oh, well, because the atmospherics has crashed, so it's not doing anything. Yes. All right. Is there any other prep work we can do beforehand? We can enclose it. We're going to move it back. So if we move it back, all we got to do is add one section on this side. We don't have to change anything over here. I guess we can go ahead and just put circuits in. And I might, you know, just to be safe, it would be worth it to put a transformer in here to isolate these. Since we have run into that before. I can't go through that way. Where we have run into that before on, you know, thinking that there wasn't anything else on the circuit that would be controlled by it. So we'll do that real quick. Double check, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, we do have one unused one downstairs, but I think we'll just make another one. It's on the wall, so I don't really want to rip it off. Oh, look at that. Our power's coming back up. Over here. Oh, an APC. Yeah, we could. That probably is a possibility. I don't think, but we don't need it. We don't need a backup, you know, power for any reason. So I'll just do a transformer. I never compared the cost on them. To see if it makes sense to which valve. Because I think now we've got well, there's a couple different valves. Yeah, I never checked because I don't think data transfers through the APC either. Yeah, so we're gonna, you know what, we'll stick it on the wall over here. I don't really like them sticking up in the middle of the floor like I do over there. I mean, I kind of had to do that. I'm actually tempted to bury those in the floor just because we never have to touch them. As it is, so, but I think that doesn't really work out too well. All right, so, but, oh, really, we're not gonna be able to get to the. We might still be able to do it. Okay, and we'll just set it right up to 5,000. Now, of course, since we've done this, we're limited to. It is still 4. It is still 4 because it won't. They won't actually run 5 heaters. I tried that. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I never seen anybody else in their jetpack before. That looks kind of cool. Oh, so which one? Over by the. Oh, this one right here that I just added in. This is just to so we can isolate the tank over here. So that way, if there's anything coming through, if we're doing something like this where I'm moving the tank, it just keeps any gases coming through. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to leave it there or not, just because I could see accidentally turning it on one day and then having pipes blow up because I forgot I shut it off. But in this case, it keeps anything else from coming through the line. Because I wish I kind of and yes, I was going to check it again, even though I just remembered atmospherics crashed. All right, so that'll isolate it down apart from. I don't really know if I want that there now, though. No, I don't. We're gonna move that. We're gonna actually move it right now because otherwise that's gonna cause issues later on. We're going to stick it over here, which I don't mind it being on a wall. That doesn't look completely dumb. So, which it actually looks kind of like more realistic. And yes. So, on. And it would be nice if I remembered its settings, though. And I kind of wish you could hold down the button, too. Luckily, these aren't that bad, though. Okay. Yeah, the reason being is that if we put it there, then to tie in over there, we would have had to tie in behind it. So now I can basically come off right here and go down through and lag spike again. So when we tie in off to the other section, or I can, tie anywhere off of here now. I don't have to come in back on this side, which would mean ripping a hole back into the base again, which would not have been fun. So yeah, we should be good there. So that's hooked up. And now, I guess we're going to want to set up the circuit the same way as we did down below, where we actually had it just turn the transformer on and off and not, that way we don't have to worry about back feeding the power. We can just tie the data line right into that. So we're going to want a writer, and we can go ahead and turn off our light. Which, did I put the circuits in here? I did, didn't I? Processor, writer. Okay. So we'll want a writer, and we'll want the data. We can pull the power right off of there. That's fine. Yeah. Batch writer, yes. And we want just the data to go out. Wait. Yeah, because we can do data in on this side without crossing the lines. And then that'll work. That will work good. And then we don't have to worry about crossing over our heavy cables into our light cables. All right. And for now, we're just going to run that right there. And what we're going to do is, so we're already reading our temperature. And what we'll do is we'll just do another compare to another memory. So simple circuit. And we'll somewhere, doesn't really matter where. We could, I wonder, does the data pass through? Probably not. We'll stick it over here. That'll work. And try to, yeah, I don't want to cross over there. All right, so we change. Oh, let's get that heavy cable back out of here because we're gonna keep grabbing that. I don't need to. All right, so we want a 4-way corner, and we're gonna do a. Do we got enough room? Oh, you know what? If we move that. Trying not to have to pass a whole bunch of cables underneath. We want to do a compare. Oh, look, yeah, that's right. The compares the 4-way. All right, we'll just stick it over here. That's fine. Power, data. Yeah, we don't really care on this one. All right. So that's going to become a 4-way. That's going to change. That's going to change. We might as well just change that too. I don't know. We're going to find out. It's going to be, I'm going to put the composite walls on the outside. So it will kind of be a room. I just don't know if it's going to not like it because it's kind of how it is. And there we go. Okay, so do that, and we actually don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that. We'll change that. There we go. All right. So we should. Where's our screwdriver? Actually, where's the labeler at? Let's label these first. So we're gonna call this one. What do we call? What did we call this tank? Oh, well, we just call it large tank. Oh, did we not name any of these? Oh, because we broke the circuit out separately. Okay, so we're gonna call this high temp. Yeah, high temp. Yeah, I guess we'll call this high temp. No limit. Firm. And then that one is our low temp limit. And that one is going to be the Heater, writer. Oh, actually, I wish it would still tell you what the setting was. And this is going to be our high temp compare. All right, we should. Large tank temperature. So we'll just do this temp reader because we're going to have to know which one to pull from. But my question is yeah, it's kind of crappy you can't read the memory without the screwdriver. 303. One of those is temperature, which I believe that's temperature. I believe that's pressure. Oops, didn't want to do that. Yeah, so we actually name those backwards. So this is the pressure cut in. And then this is the temp. This is the low temp limit. All right, there we go. So we want this compare unit to compare, and to make this easy, break that. And yeah, it's over here, this one, and break that. So that should isolate the circuit. We shouldn't have anything but this circuit on here now. So no other readable devices on the network. Well, you're not. Oh, we didn't hook up the rest of the lines on that. Yes, that would be good to do. Yeah, we've got a power line, but no data line. So yes, you obviously can't read anything like that. All right. Now, let's try that again. Why are you telling me you can't read anything? Are you telling me you can't read without power now? Yeah, that's broken. Yeah, you should definitely be able to read those. Or did I hook that up on the... Oh! Alright, that, yes. Well, no, that shouldn't matter. Oh, that's why. I hooked it up wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I can see why you can't read anything on there. Okay, batch writer. We want... Oh, well, we need it the way it's facing, because we need data. Oh, autosave. Or lag spike, whichever one it is. Yeah, lag spike, I'm guessing, because it's not... Oh, yeah, it has to be, because we're set to half an hour. All right. So, we got to move this over one. Oh, everything was... Best laid plans, all that fun stuff. All right, come on. There, there, there. I'll pull that up. Pull that up. Thank you. Yep, I should check that. Okay, so batch writer, data out. Very nice. Oh. We could have left it the way it was. Wait. Let's double check that. Oh, yeah, I was looking at data in. Yeah, so we could have actually had it left. We'll just do that. We'll put it back. I liked it where it was. I'm trying to leave some room around in case we got to put some other stuff. So if we need to expand the circuit, we have a little bit of room to do so. All right. I'll just stick this back real quick. But there we go. Yeah, so we basically need to turn it 180 degrees. And a corner. And another junction. Oh. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. What did I... Four-way. Nope, that's why. There we go. And then I've got the one left over. All right, so we should read now. If we don't, then it's just way past my bedtime. Yes. Batch writer. Thank you. I don't know how many times I do that. I always forget those change. Okay, so we want to be... we're going to... item compare. That's what we want. And I just passed it. Item compare. Thank you. Out is going to go to... Oh. The question is that's not going to isolate it the way we want. Shoot. Because it'll still read back onto this side. Alright, I guess we'll just have to keep an eye on if there's any ones that act weird. Yeah, how would we... Yeah, I guess there's not really... Oh. Yeah, that's going to cause an issue. Because we do have transformers on the other side down below. How are we going to isolate that out? It has to come in from the back side. We have to run the power to it. I mean, I guess we could put an APC in before this junction, and then it can... Oh, you know what I can do too? Hang on. We don't actually need a batch writer. We can do in this case, we can just do a regular logic writer, and we will specifically target that one. So we're going to call this the holding tank heater. Transformer. Oh, because they're not actually on. I was like, why is that not drawing power? But yes, transformers actually won't show. They won't light up unless there's actually a power draw coming through them. Okay, so input is going to be the high temp compare. The output is going to go to the. See, there was another one on the circuit, which we can actually isolate by doing that. Yes, holding tank heater and then on. Very nice. Okay, so our high temp is, we're going to want to set it a little bit lower, and I'm going to drop this back. That's our pressure. I'm going to set it back to the 293, which is where we had basically 20 degrees Celsius, which is where we had it before. And then I tried to speed up the process, so I raised it up a little bit. So we're going to want this to be, oh, actually, we need to reverse these. Well, yeah, I labeled them backwards. This should be the low temp. So we're going to call this, this is going to be 293. And then this one is going to be the 303. So basically it's going to try to keep the tank between 20 and 30 degrees. So if the gas comes in and it's lower than 20 degrees, it's going to kick in the heaters, which is where that should be low temp. And then once it heats up to that 20 degrees, it'll allow the valve open, go through. If the gas in the tank is above 30 degrees, then it's going to open the radiator up and let it cool off, which we need to put a digital valve in there. And yeah. Oh, well, that'll be good because we've, no, we can't hook a valve directly to the tank. Annoying. We're going to have to push that back one, push that back one, push that back two, push that back two, put the valve in. Because we are centered that way. Yes. So we're going to rename this low temp limit firm, and then this is going to be high temp limit. And now, even though it does, I'm going to double check because, oh, and then that's, yeah, I guess we should rename that too. So this compare should actually be low temp compare. Confirm. All right, so compare. So that's comparing low temp compare. Yeah, we got to set the low temp compare. So we're going to do our temp reader is less than our low temp limit. Very nice. On. And memory's already on, and logic writer's on. There we go. Now, you know, I'm just going to move it. We don't have that much stuff left in there. And otherwise, I'm going to have to do, I have to do a restart anyway. Since obviously we can't. And let me guess, it probably won't let me put it inside there now because everything's in there. Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Lovely. I love this whole tear stuff up to build it back apart, to tear stuff up to build it back apart, because you can't place stuff unless the other stuff's there, but then it's in the way of the other stuff, and you know. Which, I mean, I'm glad that we can place inside the blocks, but I really wish it was a little bit better implemented. Because as much as I love like ripping these open to, you know, I mean, I don't know. I guess you have to open it up, but okay. So we turn that. Again, thank you. There's our valve. We want to basically move it back 1. And now we're centered. Very nice. Look at that. Ooh, amazing. And we'll move this back. Because obviously we need our data. Really? Really? You just ate a cable. Oh, unless I put a 4-way corner on there again. I'm not used to having those. I believe those are the new ones that they added in like an update 2 days ago. I thought it was for heavy, but I guess it was for the light. Which we might actually have a spot we can actually use that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hook that back up. And now we're going to have to reader pipe analyzer. We're good on that. Compare logic reader. Yeah, it's the readers we want. This reader. Yes, we're reading the temp reader. So we need, oh, I just passed it. Large tank. Come on. We should, large tank. Temperature. Now, don't we have, oh, because we're reading pressure off of the, why are we reading pressure off that and not the tank? Oh, because we have the volume pump, so it drains the line. That's right. Yes. Okay, so we didn't actually have to pull that up. I forgot we're not reading pressure off of the tank itself. I really wish. You know what? We need to go make one of those. We need a digital valve. And we need to be able to shut that radiator off. Though I don't know if we're going to need to, you know, drop that radiator down one more and have it, the floor sealed. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Because my thought is you know, we're going to be trying to, I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to run it and see. And then if we need to seal it up, we can seal it up. That would be actually funny. I might have to do something like that. Oh wait. Oh, that's right. We just made all, no, duh. I forgot we made all the steel. I'm like, oh, we had a 501 steel in here. Oh, look, yes. Very nice. Look at all the magical resources that just appeared. Yeah, some silver, some iron. Yeah, which the lead we don't usually use too much of. Some gold, copper. Very nice. That will come in handy. That will actually keep us, plus with all the stuff we just processed on the last episode. So that will keep us in resources for quite a while, since we have, what, about 1,000 iron, and I just made 1,200 steel. Now, I'm assuming this is not going to let me do the yes, of course, you know, because why would you actually be able to connect a valve directly to a tank? That would be crazy. So, all right, I guess we're going to have to. Trying to think of the best way I want to tie this in. I guess we're going to want to do that, and then either we just pull out one. Yeah, I guess we can just do it that way. So what we'll do is we'll pull this up right here, pull that off, which we can just move to, oh, look, like right there. And for some reason, I'm thinking we have some extra radiators around, so I might be able to toss a couple more on there. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I'm gonna do the restart at the end once everything's set up, because, like, you know, I just had to break open this. Am I gonna be able to run that up there? I can't cross there. I can't. I gotta go check. I don't think it's gonna let me. How the hell did I even get down here? This is gonna be. Oh! It does let me sneak through there. Very nice. Yeah, we can run a line right down through here, so that'll work. Yeah, because it's right on the outside of the tank. So we can just come. And just so I can look at it, if I need be. All right. So, oh, you know what? We can run. I guess either way is kind of the same thing. Say we can either run right down there or run over this way, but I think that way's actually going to be shorter. Maybe. Not a junction, straight piece. All right. And so we're going to need actually another writer. What are we going to read off of? So we're going to need another logic writer that's basically set up the same as this one. And it's going to control that valve. Yes. So that's all we need is one logic writer. And yeah, because we're going to basically, if the heaters kick on, it's going to shut off that digital valve. Look, 100% power. Very nice. I wonder if it's the active vents that were draining so much power. Here we go. Oh. Oh, you made one? Very nice. Okay. Thank you. And look at all the piping, wiring, and I'm hoping they'll get some type of like gantry block or something so that we. Actually, you know what'd be nice is like some type of. I don't want that over there. We can actually put it like right. And it doesn't need to be a. It just needs to be a regular writer. Yeah, we can do, let's stick it right there. Oop. Okay. So, if we turn that, make this a 4-way. Granola bar, yes. Yes, we pay in granola bars. And yeah, we'll do that. All right. So the logic writer is, and since we do have multiple valves, we're going to call this holding tank radiator valve. I wonder, does it actually, is there a limit on the, oh, it just does dot, dot, dot. Okay, that's good to know. Though, thankfully, they give you quite a bit of space to label stuff. Okay, and then we're going to call this, writer. All right, and that should work. So we want to say that if what was oh, that one, that was must be for the pressure. Yes. So we want to say if the logic reader. Okay, that one is called the temp reader. Okay, yes. So we want to say if the logic reader no, we don't want the logic reader. We want the low temp compare. So same thing as the other one. So if the low temp compare, and then we're going to output to the, not that digital valve, holding tank radiator valve, and then on, or no, off. Well, actually, what do we get? We get setting on. We have to reverse that, because that's going to open it. Oh, you know what we can do? We can do it in reverse. Low temp compare. We can do it off the compare. So if we do it off of low temp compare, not the low temp compare, we want to do it off of the, we don't have a, that's the pressure. Oh. Temp reader. Oh. Temp reader is less than the high temp, which would be the 303. So yeah, if it's less than this, which is, okay, so yes, the one that's opening the digital valve, we can use that to run this, because if it ends up being high, no, that's not going to work either. Shoot. I'm trying to see if there's a way we can tie this in without, yes. All right. So we can't So what we could do is we could throw a select switch down, I guess. And then we can put it on the negative. Or we can throw another compare in. Because we need a, if the temperature is, oh, hang on. Now I'm confusing myself. All right. We need the valve writer. We need the valve to shut if the heaters are running. So if the temperature is less than 20 degrees, the valve needs to shut. So unfortunately, yeah, we're gonna need one more compare because we don't. Yeah, we have a compare for pressure and we have a compare for the high temp. We don't need a compare for the low temp. Because we're, wait a minute, why don't we have a reader for the low temp? We have pressure, which is running the volume. That's running the volume pump, which is basically pretty much this circuit right here. Temp reader is less than high temp limit. So if that, oh, maybe we can pull off of that one. So if this is less than 303, then that's going to turn that on, though. Yeah, because we need one that's going to output in is less than, oh, that would mean if it's over. So if it's over, which is when we're going to want that to run. Oh, maybe we can use that then. So if this is over the high temp limit. Okay, so yeah, we should be able to pull off of this one then. Okay, so this is the high temp compare. See what happens when you don't name them. So, yes, we should be able to pull off of the high temp compare, output to the holding tank valve, and then turn on. All right, that should be it. And then we'll power this up and see what I did not think of. Okay, first of all, are they all on? Yes. So that should be kicking on. And then what we need to do is not fall in the hole. These need to be turned on. And then they'll just be controlled by the actual transformer. Okay. So that'll work. But then the digital valve's open. Ugh. So we got to do a select on the digital valve. See, that's what we didn't think of. Because the digital valve is only set right now to run if it is above. Oh, and I can't get that out of there. Of course not. I think it's if its digital valve is set to run. Oh, where's the valve one? If the, is this it? Digital valve, yes. So this one is reading from the high temp because we didn't used to have the low temp. So if the high temp is, if it's less than the high temp, then it runs because it wasn't doing a lower limit. So we're gonna have to do a select and I think a select. I think a select is going to be the way we need to do it. So we'll need a processor, right? Because we're going to have to say if the temperature is higher than that and lower than that. There should be a range where they're basically both going to be, as long as we've got these set correctly. So our temp reader is less than the low temp limit, and then if our temp reader is less than the high temp limit, for some reason that does not sound right. That should be greater than, shouldn't it? Low temp limit, high temp limit. I'm thinking I need to change that. But this is the one I added in. That's the one that was there. So that would assume that since it was working, this one is correct, this one is wrong. So temp reader is less than the high temp limit. That's going to output a 1. And where is our writer? So high temp compare. Yeah, is temp reader is less than the high temp limit. High temp limit is 303, which is 30 degrees. So if this is less than 30 degree, did I do that on the high temp limit? Okay, yes, because we're doing this from, this is for the ACs. So if this is less than 30 degrees, so we're probably going to want to change what's running this then. So we've got a 1 there, we've got a 1 there. Oh, you know what? These might not be reading right either because atmospherics is broken. So it might not actually be pulling the temperatures. So low temp is less than low temp limit. And high temp is less than high temp limit. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a greater than on that one. If the low temp is greater than low temp limit, oh, that actually sounds backwards. I would say, I'm probably using these compares backwards. Should probably say if the temp reader, I think it was like 25 right now. I'm thinking that's what I need, is low temp, blah, blah, blah. We just have to make sure we don't screw up any of the rest of the circuit. The temp reader is less than the low temp. And if the temp reader is greater than the high temp, so that would give us a 1 and a 1, which we're not going to want. Yeah, because we basically got to get this to out. We got to get something to output a 0 to shut this valve off. So if we are low temp is less than the low temp limit, so we could say greater than the low temp limit. And if this one is higher than the high temp limit, so we'll want to say if this is less than the high temp limit and this is greater than the low temp limit. Yeah. Yeah, you want the high temp compare to be great. Oh, yeah. Well, no, I need it to do backwards. Because I can adjust the, I can flip around the other ones. I do believe. Easy enough. But I need the valve to shut off. So if we are... Yeah, because I think we're going to have to use a select switch. We could do the reverse it how we did with the circuit, though, over there. That might work, too. Where we used a select and then we used a memory with an override. And then just had it basically choose the opposite. Which worked well enough for that. But I think we are definitely going to need a select. And I don't think... And we still have one more memory, so we might be all right. No. I want the valve to be closed unless it's between 20 and 30 degrees. So if it's greater than the high temp, then that would mean it would be over 30 degrees. Fun with logics. I swear sometimes in logic I get in my way more than I help myself. Right. So, and I really wish they just had, like, you know, a min-max chip that actually let you just set a min-max limit. But no, that's not what the min-max chip does, which is highly disappointing. Which we'll just... yeah, I can stick it like... Oh, actually, I guess we can just put it right here. Oh, maybe not. No. All right. So if we have the select, then we want that. Yeah, if that outputs is 0. Yeah, that might work. But yeah, I think we definitely got to change. So if the temp reader is less than the high temp limit, that is going to put on a 1. Which, if it's greater or less than greater, yeah. Because we have right now, temperature is less than the low temp limit, it kicks on. But we need to, well, maybe I'm just overthinking this. But we don't want it to... The problem is right now is, like, if the tank is at like -60, it will still open this valve. Is less than. So we want it to be if it's less than the high temp and greater than the low temp. So the temp reader is less than the high temp limit, and if the low temp, low temp is greater than the low temp limit. So that would put us between 20 and 30 degrees. So if this is less than that, or 1 minute, high temp limit, which is right here, which would be 30 degrees, then this kicks on. Yeah, that's what I did. I put a grater over there. But we have to adjust the, now I believe the heating circuit because it was working the other way. So if the is greater than the low temp limit is less than the high temp limit. Okay, so we want to change this to be high temp compare. So if the high temp compare kicks in, which means that it is less than the high temp limit, then it's going to kick that on. So if this is less than, oh, actually, you know what? No. Shoot. Yeah, see, that messes up this now. Because we need this to be temp reader greater than low temp limit. That kicks that on. If this high temp is less than the high temp limit. And we can kind of actually ignore this because this just did the valve. But the high temp compare, yeah, because now it's going to kick on if we're, oh no, a minute. Yeah, that'll work. If it's less than, if it's less than 30 degrees, it's going to kick it on. So it's going to try to heat it to 30 degrees. So that's all right. We might have to add a select switch later on so that if it says the pressure is less than 300, then it turns this off because otherwise the heaters might just stay on. All right, but we need to change this digital valve now to read both of these with the select and maybe a memory override. And then that should be good to go. That's a corner. Okay, good. Only a corner. Oop. All right. And no, I don't have any. Okay. Nope, not the four-way corner. Yeah, I'll have to check because I think there was a spot that we kind of three-way corner. Thank you. And we just do a junction. And a regular corner. All right. So if we say now that this is going to be oh, we've got to separate these out again. Yeah, we're reading the whole entire filtration room, which has 20 million circuits in it. I definitely don't want to have to cycle through all those. Printer, printer. Okay. So we're doing not input 1, input 2? Yes. Can I not see the digital valve? I do. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Did I not name that one? I thought I named that one yeah, the holding tank valve. Yeah, I was thinking about painting it something. I definitely want to. I'd like to paint it some. I'd like to put the cladding down because it'll give us a nice smooth finish for it. So we won't be landing on like these, and then we should be able to, you know, maybe we'll do. I don't know, like a black and yellow alternating around it or something around the edge. Why am I not seeing? With the select, can we only select the? Oh, this is the. No, wait a minute. Input 1. So we want to do like high temp compare. Low. Do we not label those? Logic reader is greater than. Oh, that's pressure. Oh, yeah, low temp compare. Do I have a broken line somewhere that I'm missing? These circuits should be connected together, but I'm not seeing some of these. Oh, there it is, low temp. Okay, I just didn't go far enough. Yeah, I don't think that's how we want that. You know, you would think I put enough of these select units in that I wouldn't keep getting confused when I put them in. And because I can't control... Oh, that's right. Duh, yes. So if it's on, then it does this. Otherwise, it does this. So maybe we don't want to use a select. Oh, okay. So what we can do is we can say that, if the high temp compare, how do we override that last time? So if the high temp puts out 0, I don't think that's going to work. This is what happens when I try to do circuits at like 3:45 in the morning. Let me see. So we do want the valve writer. We definitely want... You're reading the logic compare. You're reading volume pump. High temp compare. Wait a minute. Which writer is that? I think that is the logic writer for the volume pump. Because I don't think we have... Volume pump. Yeah, that's the volume pump. No, it's not. Logic writer. we have valve writer? Oh, valve writer. Here we go. So high temp compare, yeah, which is the one we're not going to want that. This needs to be the select. Oh, and I just passed it. Logic select. And holding tank radiator on. So if this outputs a 1, then it's going to turn the radiator on. That so does not seem right. No, because we're only still reading... Oh. That's right. Okay. I know what we're doing wrong. So we'll say if... and that's what always confuses me on this. So if the if the low temp is greater than... Now, which one did we have these? We had this is... Low temp is less than high temp limit. Then it's going to kick that on. And really, we should reverse these. Oh, maybe we should just reverse those. But yes, we need to tell it that if this, this is gonna read this. If this is a 1, then it's gonna output this. If it's a 0, then it's gonna output this, which would be like the other one. And then that would give us a 1 and a 0, or a 0 and a 0. So our low temp compare yeah, no, it always messes me up. Whenever I have the select circuit, I always look at them and I'm thinking that it's not set up the way, well, I always forget and think it's set up a different way than what it actually is. And it always throws me for a loop. The select is going to... the select is going to output to... Oh, no, you just confused me with that question. Oh, hang on. Before I forget it again. So if the select is outputting a 0, then it's going to output this. If it's this, then it's going to output... If it's a positive, then it's going to output this. And then what we want is we want the valve writer to read this. So the valve writer is going to read the logic select and then output to the powering on the digital valve. So if this logic reader puts out a 1, it'll kick the valve in. And what we want to do is we want to say that if now I've confused myself again. If we do temp reader is greater than the low temp, which I think we want that I think we do want that the other way. If the low temp is less than the low temp limit, and we're going to have this kick on. And if the high temp limit is greater than the high temp, then that's, oh, that might actually fix it. That might actually be all we need to do. So if the high temp is greater than the high temp limit, which would be 303, then we're going to have the valve kick on. So this is our valve writer. We're going to read off of our high temp compare. So I don't think we actually needed valve and then holding tank radiator. That's going to kick on the radiator. If we are less than, so if we're below that high temp limit, so being 30 degrees, then it's going to shut that valve off and it's not going to radiate. And if our low temp compare is less than the low temp limit of 20 degrees, then we're going to kick the heaters on. So low temp compare on there. And then the digital valve, okay, so this is the one that was screwing us up. So the digital valve is controlled, it's the valve circuit. Volume pump, pipe analyzer. Okay, so that fixes the heater, that fixes the radiator. We're good on those. Pair on digital valve. Okay, so it's this one. So this one was using the high temp compare to turn on the digital valve. So what we want to do now is this is going to be the logic select, and we're still going to do the valve. And we're going to say that if, so temp reader is greater than the high temp, that will give us a 1. Oh, I think this is where it screws it up. But if the low temp is less than the low temp limit, that's going to give us a 1. And we're going to have to reverse it like we did on the, because we need both of those. We need it to basically say, I mean, other than that, we put 2 compare circuits in, another compare circuit in. No, I already did the radiator valve. Radiator valve's all set. This is for this valve that lets it run into the base. So we need to, it needs to be the same thing as kind of these. And actually, did we do the radiator right? If we do temp reader is less than low temp. Oh, yeah, this is the radiator. So, yeah, we don't need to mess with that. We don't need to mess with that. And now we just want to say that if where? What? I don't have that hooked up yet. Ignore that. That's the last part that needs to be done. I had to get the radiator situated with the this. So this is now controlling the heat the way it should be. This is controlling the radiator, that's what we had to. I had to get the radiator set up because there wasn't the valve there, and that's what was throwing it off for that. But now that we know that that is set up right, my jetpack went dead. Am I stuck in this hole? I might be. Oh, no, I'm not. I always forget that. There is always a way to get out of a hole. Oh. No, the select is where we're going to be a bit of a... I think that's going to take a little bit more. Oh, come on, really? I can fall down here, but okay, thank you. I gotta change out my jetpack real quick. And before I forget, we have one that's partially filled over here. There, look at that. I actually remember to do it that time. All right. So, logic select. If... Oh, I need to change over to the screwdriver. All right, I gotta look at this again. This is where it always screws me up on these. If... So, it's reading this, basically. So, if, we'll just say, if the low temp compare... Okay, so if the low temp compare is putting out a 0, then, oh no, that's not going to work, is it? What am I missing? Oh my god. All right, let's do it this way. I don't know why I always have so much trouble with those logic selects. I'm going to have to like write down what... All right. So, logic select. We are selecting depressurize, which is this. And if that is a 0, then it is outputting that, which are basically putting a 1 out. And if... yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to do an override, though. And if it's a 1, then we're outputting a 0, so we're basically reversing it. I don't know why I have so much trouble with that. But really, we need to do something a little bit different here. So if... We're going to say if the low temp compare is a 0, then where is the valve reader at? Holding tank valve. So if the logic select, and I just passed it. If the logic select there, and I think we're going to want to reverse that. So the logic select output. That does not make sense. The valve writer. No, because now it's referencing itself. All right, so if the logic select, yes, we definitely want the valve writer reading the logic select. We're going to holding tank. That's all set up fine. So if the low temp compare outputs a, let's see, what did we say? We said less than is less than that. So if we're less than the low temp, if we're less than, all right, yeah, we'll need a memory module. So if this outputs less than, if that outputs a 1, which means it's below the low temp, then we want that to output a 0. So we're going to say that's going to be a 0, and then with a memory with a 0 on it. And then if it outputs a 0, then that's where it's going to get confusing, because we need to output from here. Yes. So it might be better to do another compare then, because high temp is greater than high temp. If this outputs a 1, if that outputs a 1, because if this is, yeah, which is I think what we had before, is we had less than the high temp. And because we were running this off the heater, so temp reader is less than high temp limit. And then this is, then we run the high temp. Yes, so this uses the high temp compare. So if this outputs a 1, meaning that it's less than the high temp limit, then it runs. Which is how I originally had that set up. And the low temp limit, so as long as this one, oh, and this is the wrong one. Damn it. So if our low temp limit, yeah, see we don't, that's what screws this up. Yeah, see, we can't do it that way. Because now if we've done that, and where is the one that says just digital valve? There should be a writer that just has digital valve on it. Okay, this is the one that's digital valve. Okay, this is the one that should be running that digital valve. This is the one that's running the radiator, which I need to stop screwing with because it's supposed to be that one. Because that's the holding tank, that's the digital valve. Or, well, that's the holding tank radiator. So the temp reader is less than the low temp limit, which is now, see, now this one's messed up because where I believe we reversed this, high temp compare. Yeah, if we're less than 303, well, we could do it off the high temp though, because this was a greater than. Well, actually, that would still work though. If we did low temp is greater than the low temp limit, that would give us a 1. If we said high temp reader is less than the high temp, that would give us a 1. And if we are greater than, temp reader is greater than the low temp limit. Yeah, that's where it breaks. See that? Now that breaks the heat though. High temp reader is less than the high temp limit. Okay, so this is where we have to have this read this. High temp compare on. So if we're less than the high temp, it'll kick that on. If we are low temp is greater than the low temp limit, then we want the radiator to open up. Holding tank valve, so low temp compare, not low temp. Low temp compare, right? So if we're there is greater than the low temp, it's going to kick on. So once we hit 20, it'll shut back off. We're good there. Now, the digital valve is the high temp is less than the high temp limit, so that should be on. So that's going to output a 1. The low temp is greater than the low temp limit, which is when we want this to be open, and that's going to output a 1. So we want to say that this digital valve is reading the select on the digital valve, which is that line. And if, and we can do this either way. So if the low temp compare outputs a 1, then we're going to want to output a 1. Which means we can just output itself because it's going to be outputting a 1. Low temp compare. Yes. If it is outputting a 0, which means it's less than the low temp, which is when we don't want it on, then it's going to compare against the high temp. And if the high temp is less than the high temp limit, this will output a 1. It'll let the valve open. If the high temp is over the limit, it's going to output a 0, and it's not going to let the valve open. And I don't know why that confuses me so much every single time when I try to set one of these up. So that should work. What? Low temp is 1 before. What? Low temp. Low temp is set to 293. High temp is set to 303. It shouldn't matter. It's just going to read if it's a 0 or a 1 and then do the alternate. So low temp compare. So you're saying what? Low temp compare. If the low temp reader greater than low temp is a 0. So if the low temp is greater than that, it's going to output a 1. Yeah, but it doesn't matter which one's first. As long as it can get either a 0 or a 1, then it's going to compare against the other one. I do believe. I don't see why it would. Low temp compare. So, because they're both going to be off in conditions when we don't want them to run. So if this is on, then it means check this one. And if this one is on, then it means run. If this one is off, then it means we're below the limit and it's going to shut off. And that's when the heaters are going to be running. And as soon as we come up above the limit, then it'll kick on. And that'll let it run. But if this kicks on, right? So if that kicks on, so low temp compare, if it's on, oh, I see what you're saying, because if the low temp compare kicks on, then it just means it's basically above the low temp. So it could be at like 600 degrees. That's still an on. So high to 0. Well, high was on 0, wasn't it? So we went high. Wait, isn't that how it was? If the low temp is off, well, no, why would I read that? That doesn't make any sense now. Because if your temp reader is greater than the low temp, if it's off, it means it's already below the low temp. So that wouldn't help to have it go the other way. Oh, I think, okay, if the low temp is off, which means it's below the low temp, then we need to do the low temp compare. And if it's on, what is our high temp set to? Are we set to greater than or lower than? Okay. So if it's less than the high temp, yeah, that would work. This is right. High temp compare. Yeah. If our low temp compare is greater than the low temp limit, then it's going to compare against the high temp. So that means we're above that the low temp. And if our high temp compare, what? No, the low temp is set to be greater than. This is set to be greater than. This is set to be less. Wait, did you change it? Low temp compare, yes, off, then it's going to go to low temp. If it's above the temp, then it's going to output the high temp, which should be correct. If the high temp is less than the high temp limit, then it's going to output a 1. And if it's less than, then that means the heaters are going to kick on. If the low temp is greater than the low temp limit, then that's going to output a 1, which means that, yes, the valve can open and the radiator can open. It should be all set. And did I hook the cable back up? No. And everything has green dots. Oh, except for that's not on. So right now this is outputting as 0. Well, for one, we can't actually read what that's at, but yes, so we should be below because it's saying that the heaters are on. So it is below the low temp. It is less than the high temp limit. I don't think it's going to actually read right because the atmospherics aren't running. Because if it's less than the high temp limit and that's outputting a 1, then we should be getting a 1 from the logic select. Which should be bumping it over to the high temp compare. What? High temp compare. No, it doesn't. If the high temp, yeah, I know. I'm gonna, I've got to restart the session so we can get the atmospherics up and running so we can test it. It should be fine now. Hopefully. But that should be all set up. So I'm going to do a restart, or not a restart, I'm just going to leave the session and then restart it. Because, shoot, I can't. I have to restart the client. If I if I try to leave the session, it'll make the client crash. Because the atmospherics is crashed. It won't let me just go back to the main menu. Yeah, so I actually have to just exit out of the session. I am, but I'm not going to have time tonight because it's already 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're at another 2 hours on this. Since we spent like the last half hour or so fighting with the select circuit. One of these days I will get these straightened out in my head. But I do not know why, after we've done like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these now, I still get confused by them. But anyway, I'm sure in like, 2 years I can laugh about fighting with select circuits and stationeers. Yeah, so we can go ahead and open that valve back up. You've got like green tools or grayish or looks almost like a Stanley screwdriver, the old kind. Yeah. All right. But yes, that does need a room around it. We have to throw the... I'm usually pretty good on everything but the select switches. The select switches just... They throw me for a loop every single time. And I don't know. I just get completely confused by them. And you would think... Probably since you don't have to use them very often in most cases, but it's like you run across, you need them every now and then I'm just like, I don't know. But anyway, should be all set. That should give us the heaters, the valve, and the radiator valve. And then so if we can close that, which we can technically cheat and use the wall fragments now, since we don't need we don't actually need to hang the and hopefully nothing's going to be in the way. Let's say since we don't actually need to hang the heaters on it. All right. And yeah, we should just be able to do like that. Oh, you know what? I actually want to put... actually, we'll only do it on the front. We don't need to do it all the way around. And then that way it'll be blocked from the sun as well. I want to do the front in glass. That way we can actually see if the wall heaters are working. Of course my jetpack's low because I'm running all over the place. And we should... Nope. Up there. Nope. Stop it. There. And I don't even know if I have any iron sheets left over or not. I'll have to find out. But it looks so ugly on the inside. Okay. Frames. Oh, there's a pause. Oh, the lovely little... that actually might be a save. No, actually, our time's not going to match up. Yeah, because I had the world idling when I was letting the base depressurize. Okay. Oh, did you grab the... you got the glass? Oh, you did. Okay. Now I'll have to just put a pressure and a temperature display on there. Yeah, I'm just interested to see if that's actually going to work now or not, because we've got the hole down here. And I jumped in the hole again with a dead jetpack. Oh my god, I can't believe we managed to jump out of that. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna have to. Really? Oh my God. Really? I'm stuck in this. Because you can't jump, obviously. Oh, thank you. All right. Before anything else happens, I'll get the jetpack. Oh, actually, I'm going to use that one. It's not full, but letting that one charge up should be... Yeah. Oh, that's right. Nothing's charging because there's no... Now, how does that work? Atmospherics is broken, but you still use up your jetpack, which is a gas. That's a little strange. Jetpacks must not go off of gas. They just must go off of so much time per, however. Or they just must use a certain amount per, tick of flying. Or however you'd want to phrase it. And not actually use, like, the atmospherics. Okay. Oh, my God. I'm so glad I just put that on there. All right. Before I fall in this hole again, how about I weld it without burning through all the cable? Oh, I can't weld because atmospherics is broken. That's right. Okay, never mind. I guess I'm not welding that. All right, so we're at 2 hours and 7 minutes, so we are going to call it good for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me struggle with the stupid select circuit. But it is all up. Unfortunately, like I said, I have to shut down the client and restart to get the atmospherics back up. So we will do the first test run tomorrow. Because I'm at 4:30 in the morning my time right now, and I meant to be in bed like 3 hours ago. Yeah, we'll do the test run of this, which it looks like it should be all set. It should give us a more constant temperature coming back into the base. It's just going to be will this heat up with, the bottom basically exposed to, the Martian atmosphere. If not, then we'll just have to, put the radiator on the outside and seal this up, or drop the radiator underneath here, which would work because we can seal that one and just have it come through here and basically just move them over to this row. And then that would let us completely seal that up, and we would know that would be sealed. And then it can vent the heats out of the radiator, and it'll let the tanks absorb it. Yeah, through there. So, we'll see. Might need a little bit of tweak there. And then, since I don't think we don't really have much in there right now, because, well, especially since the atmospheric crashed, but we can drop the ices in. So this is all volatiles, oxides, and did you just get oxides and volatiles, or did you get something else too? I know you mentioned it in the chat a while back, but we can't actually scroll back in the chat. So I think you said there was 2x of each. So if there's 2x of ice, that'll be nice, because we definitely need that. That'll give us quite a bit of nitrogen. But we can dump that in and check the heating circuit. It is ice. Okay, very nice. Yeah, so we can dump that in. That'll let us test the heating. And then if we need to, we could always just kick in the furnace, even if we don't burn anything, or actually smelt something, we can, just burn a little bit of gas. Or we can actually just click in the generator to put something hot in there and make sure that it still cools down. So, but we'll test that tomorrow. And, yeah. And then after that, we'll jump back over to here because we've got our steel, and I'll probably make up a whole bunch of steel sheets and frames off camera, since obviously we're still going to need quite a few since we have a 2-block tall room to do in there, and then a floor and a 1-block utility layer plus another floor. Yeah, so that's a lot of frames and sheets. But nothing we're not kind of familiar with. Oh, we never did check out if the solar panels stopped bugging out or not, which they get down to the point where they just about do it. So I'll probably just idle here real quick while I get ready to go to bed and see if it bugs out or not. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't have. I'm too tired. I'll check it some other time. Not that it was like a critical bug or anything, but I'm definitely gonna have to clad this in something too, because now we got a giant cube just sitting here. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Again, fun with select logics and crushing atmospherics. So I will see you guys in the next episode, which I believe will be 94. It'll probably be sometime tomorrow afternoon, my time. And yeah, we'll keep going on from there. I'll see you guys then. Have a good night. Oh, how do you get it? That was the fire. So cold and heat, I believe, will do it. So if the temperature is too high, you basically get burn damage. Temperature is too low, you get freezing damage. And I don't know if the actual asphyxiation shows up as, I think that just makes you pass out from the low oxygen. I don't know if that actually gives you damage to your, I think that gives you brain damage and gives you damage to your head. It goes away when you log back in. Unless they've changed it, then basically every time you log out, when you log back in, you're basically, all your statuses are reset currently. It's not persistent. And I imagine at some point they'll probably change that because, technically it is survival. So anytime, any damage you have now, you should really still have when you log back in. But, all right, I've got to get to bed. Again, hope you guys enjoyed it. A little bit of fun there. And I'll see you guys again the next episode. Have a good night or morning, depending on your time zone.